What if every act of kindness you've ever received was just a carefully crafted lie? Meet Yuta Tano, a high schooler living under a dark cloud of suspicion. His problem? He has a popular, incredibly good-looking older brother. Time and time again, girls have approached Yuta, acting sweet and kind, giving him gifts, and showing him affection, only for the devastating truth to come out every single time. It was all a ploy to get closer to his brother. For them, Yuta was never the goal, just a stepping stone. This constant deception has forged a deep-seated rule in his heart: never trust girls who are kind to him. It's a defense mechanism born from repeated heartbreak. But then she appears. Her name is Izumi Fuju. She's in his class, and lately she's been different. One morning, as Yuta walks down the hall, greeting people, he mutters a "good morning" in her direction. She walks right past. Annoyed, thinking she's ignoring him, he shouts it again. She turns, her gaze sharp and direct, and says, "Right. Good morning." The intensity of her focus on him leaves him completely flustered. Yuta's mind immediately goes on high alert. He overhears other girls talking about how cute Fuju is and how she'd be a perfect match for his third-year older brother. His worst fears seem to be confirming themselves. But just as he's bracing for the inevitable trick, Fuju walks straight up to him and asks, "Hey Tano, what kind of bread do you like?" Stunned, he manages to say, "Melon bread." Her friends whisk her away to the cafeteria, leaving Yuta spiraling in confusion. What is her real game? This girl continues to throw him off at every turn. In gym class, his friends marvel at her. She's not just cute with good grades, she has a mysterious vibe and excels at sports. During a basketball game, she attempts a difficult shot and misses by a hair. But instead of being disappointed, she pumps her fist with a look of pure, unadulterated triumph, simply proud that she did her best. She isn't playing for an audience, she's completely in her own world. A friend teases Yuta. "Hey, you were totally looking at Fuju-san too." Yuta furiously denies it, but across the gym, Fuju wipes the sweat from her face, a faint, knowing smile playing on her lips. Yuta is left in a state of complete chaos. Everything he knows about the world is being challenged by this one girl who has never once mentioned his brother. Every instinct, honed by years of betrayal, screams that this is a trap. And yet, for the very first time, a dangerous and hopeful thought begins to blossom in his heart. What if this time, it's actually real? As our story continues, Yuta Tano remains trapped in his fortress of distrust, built from the painful memories of girls using him to get to his brother, Rei. He sees it happen again right before his eyes. Another cute first year approaches Rei, and Yuta can only watch, reaffirming his cynical beliefs. Just then, in a moment of distraction, Yuta stumbles and falls. As he lies there, defeated, a figure kneels before him. It's Izumi Fuju. "Are you alright?" she asks, her gaze cutting through his turmoil. She offers him a handkerchief. This is it. The classic act of kindness, the very thing he's learned is a warning sign. Unable to bear the suspense, his mind screaming that this must be another elaborate trick, Yuta confronts her with the question that has haunted him for years. "Why? Why aren't you going after my brother?" He expects an excuse, a lie, a redirection. But her answer shatters his reality. After a brief, thoughtful pause, she looks him directly in the eye and says something he has never heard before. "It's because I found you. That's all." The words hit him like a lightning strike. A direct, unambiguous statement aimed squarely at him. His mind short-circuits. A daydream flashes through his thoughts. A vision of Fuju blushing, confessing her love for him, Tano. Could it possibly be real? His trauma immediately fights back. "There's no way." He clutches his head, his heart pounding in his chest as he makes a desperate vow. "I will not let myself be deceived ever again." He reluctantly takes the handkerchief she offered. "You're welcome," she says softly. But as she leaves, she adds another layer to the puzzle. "Make sure you return that handkerchief, okay? The one in your hand is my favorite one." Reeling from Fuju's shocking declaration that she found him, Yuta's world remains tilted on its axis. But his deeply ingrained cynicism won't let him accept it. In class, his mind is so preoccupied that he completely bombs a math quiz, earning a pathetic 5 out of 50. His friends mercilessly tease him, blaming his distraction on his conversation with Fuju. When Yuta returns to his desk, he finds Fuju sitting in his seat. When he tells her to move, she doesn't just get up. She scoots over and cheekily pats the remaining sliver of space, offering him half the seat. Yuta is left speechless and flustered. Who even does that? Her behavior is so bizarre, so outside the realm of normal social interaction that it doesn't fit the manipulative patterns he's used to. Forced to study for a makeup test, Yuta heads to the one place he thinks he can find peace, the library. He's shocked to find the enigmatic Izumi Huju already there. He had pictured her at some trendy after-school cafe, not hunched over a book. Peeking closer, his surprise deepens. She's not studying, but intensely reading a light novel with a comically long and specific title. The most beautiful girl in school flirts with me, so I almost got the wrong idea, but there's no way she'd actually like me. The irony is so thick it leaves him stunned. As Yuta struggles with his own work, unable to solve a problem, a voice suddenly cuts through his concentration. You made a mistake. It's Huju, leaning over his shoulder, her face incredibly close to his. Startled, he tries to hide his failed test paper, but it's too late. She sees the abysmal score. You failed, she states plainly. Yuta braces himself for mockery, but instead, she does the unthinkable. I can teach you the parts you don't understand. Yuta is floored. His friends had mentioned she was smart, but he assumed she was just another girl who spaced out in class. He starts to refuse, but she calmly slides her own test paper in front of him. On it, in bold red ink, is a perfect score, 100. In an instant, his entire perception of her is shattered once again. This quirky, light novel reading girl who tries to share a single chair is also a certified genius. Left with no choice, he accepts her help. As she begins to teach him, he finds himself unable to focus, not just on the math, but on how close she is, how patient she is. Time melts away. Before he knows it, the library is closing. The tutoring session is over, and for the first time, the problems on the page seem to make sense. As he watches her quietly read her book, Yuta is more confused than ever. Every new interaction, every bizarre quirk, every unexpected act of genuine kindness, chips away at the walls he's built around his heart. Fresh off the mental gymnastics of his study session with the brilliant and bizarre Izumi Huju, Yuta's mind is still spinning. As she leans in to check his work, her proximity sends his heart into overdrive, and his brain turns to mush. With a simple, devastatingly close. Correct. She confirms his answers, leaving him frozen solid as she calmly walks away. The result of her tutelage is undeniable. The next day, Yuta shocks himself and his teachers by acing the makeup test with a perfect score. Her help wasn't a trick, it was real, and it worked. But just when he thinks he can get a break from his primary source of confusion, fate intervenes. While out grocery shopping, trying to find the best deal on vegetables, he runs into the last person he expects to see, Huju herself, dressed in casual clothes. Yuta can't help but find the sight of her outside of school refreshing. And maybe even a little cute. But her chaotic energy has followed her from the classroom. He sees her holding a shopping list, yet she's about to put snacks in her basket instead. Yuta, ever the practical one, points out her misplaced priorities. Her response? She gives him a deadpan stare, shoves her basket and list into his hands, and declares that he can do the shopping while she gets snacks. Once again, he's left completely flabbergasted by her audacious, unpredictable nature. Despite his protests, he ends up helping her, efficiently gathering the items. He even proves to be a surprisingly caring guy by remembering to grab ice cream she wanted. This chaotic teamwork leads to a pivotal misunderstanding. The sweet old lady at the checkout counter sees them bickering like an old married couple and cheerfully asks Yuta, "Is that your girlfriend?" Yuta erupts in a blushing, panicked denial, insisting they're just classmates. The shopkeeper looks surprised, adding, "Really? You two seemed like you were having so much fun. I figured you were on a date." To be honest, I don't think I've ever even seen that girl laugh before. Her words stop Yuta cold. He realizes two things at once. First, what he experiences as pure stress and confusion around Huju looks like fun to an outsider. Second, and more importantly, her stoic, emotionless demeanor is her default state. The fact that she engages with him so intensely, even if it's just to boss him around, means her attention is exclusively on him. And yet, as he walks away, the ghosts of his past remain. His vow, "I will never be deceived ever again," echoes in his mind. The shopkeeper's words clash with years of trauma. Despite all the mounting evidence that Huju is different, a dark thought still creeps in. He can't help but wonder what her laugh would sound like if she were with his brother. The sky opens up and it begins to pour. Yuta has an umbrella, Huju does not. His mind screams at him to walk away, that it's not his problem, but his body betrays him. He can't just leave her there. Reluctantly, he offers to share his umbrella, and suddenly they are walking home together, huddled under the small canopy. The proximity is torture for Yuta. He's hyper-aware of how close she is, convinced this is all part of some elaborate plan to get on his good side. But just as his cynical thoughts begin to spiral, a speeding car barrels through a massive puddle. In a split second of pure instinct, Yuta yanks Hojo towards him, shielding her with his own body and taking the full, drenching force of the splash. Soaked and stunned, he looks at her. She asks if he's okay, and then, something impossible happens. Escapes her lips, and then she bursts into a full, genuine, beautiful laugh. "What are you doing, Tano?" she asks, tears of mirth in her eyes. Yuta is frozen. He has just witnessed a miracle. The girl who supposedly never laughs is laughing, and it was him who made it happen. He's completely captivated. As the rain stops and the sky clears, she smiles and thanks him for his protection. All he can do is stare, his mind reeling. This strange, unpredictable girl, who laughs at the most unexpected moments, is becoming someone he realizes he desperately needs to watch out for. But fate has other plans. Back at school, the worst possible thing happens, a seat change. And in a stroke of cosmic irony, Yuta now finds himself sitting right next to the one person who occupies his every thought, Izumi Hojo. He sees it as a trap, but a new resolve hardens within him. He will turn this misfortune into an opportunity. He will observe her, study her, and finally see through her facade to uncover her true motives. His grand plan to be a cool, detached investigator lasts all of 5 seconds. He turns to stare at her analytically, and she immediately catches him, her sharp gaze pinning him in place. "Why are you looking this way?" He panics, sputtering a lame excuse about looking at the mountains outside. He then notices her desk supplies, sparkly, cute, and utterly at odds with his own plain setup. He desperately tries to find a contradiction, thinking that a girl with such cute things couldn't possibly have a genuine interest in nature. He fixates on a strange, blob-like keychain on her bag. Hojo, with her uncanny ability to know exactly where he's looking, plucks it off her bag. "This is called the lazy dog," she says, presenting it to him. "It's cute, right?" Before he can even process the question, she holds the weird charm next to her own cheek, a sly smile playing on her lips. "It kinda looks like you." Yuta's brain short-circuits. He came ready for a battle of wits, but she's already disarmed him with a single, bizarre, and deeply flustering comment. His investigation is already off the rails. A new piece of the puzzle emerges when Hojo puts on a pair of glasses. Yuta is shocked. She explains that since she's now sitting at the back, she needs them to see the board. This simple, logical explanation dismantles another one of his flimsy theories about her. Then comes the ultimate test. Lost in his own thoughts, Yuta completely misses a question from the teacher and is called on for the answer. He panics. His only lifeline is the very girl he suspects of laying a trap. His mind races, weighing his years of trauma against the recent memory of her genuine help. What if this is it? The moment she makes him look like a fool? In a desperate leap of faith, he decides, "I'll only believe her this time." He nervously asks for the answer. She leans in and whispers a single, cryptic word. Persistence. Taking a deep breath, Yuta repeats the word to the teacher. A wave of relief washes over him as he gets it right. She didn't trick him. She helped him. Again. He turns to thank her, but what he sees stops him cold. It's not the smirk of a successful manipulator. Instead, Hojo is blushing, a small, pleased smile on her face as she shyly adjusts her new glasses. It's a look of genuine happiness. Yuta's grand investigation is an absolute failure. He set out to collect evidence of her deceit, but every clue he uncovers, from her weird keychains to her secret glasses to her genuine pleasure in helping him, only paints a picture of a girl who is not just kind, but is sincerely, and confusingly, enjoying his company. He's not just losing this battle of wits, he might be starting to not mind at all. The school bell signals a change of scenery, and Yuta finds himself on a bus for a class day trip dedicated to outdoor learning. His relief at escaping the classroom is short-lived. He's been roped into a group with his friends, the sweet and popular class idol Hasegawa, and to his utter dread, the one person he can't escape, Izumi Hojo. On the bus, a seemingly innocent card game is used to assign roles for the day's main event, making curry. The stakes are high, as the losers are condemned to the dreaded firewood duty. Naturally, in a twist of fate only this story could provide, Yuta loses spectacularly. When he asks Hojo why she's stuck with him, she delivers the deadpan verdict. "Because you came in dead last, Tano. You were second to last. And so the Bottom 2 crew is born. Their task is just as brutal as rumored. As they trek up a steep hill for firewood, Yuta watches Huju in disbelief. The girl who is a genius in the classroom is comically inept at physical labor, wobbling and struggling to chop a single piece of wood. It's another baffling layer to her personality that Yuta can't help but find amusing. Meanwhile, a catastrophe is unfolding back at the campsite. The cooking team has somehow concocted a bubbling, black sludge that looks more like a science experiment gone wrong than curry. The secret ingredients? Yogurt and honey. The dish is an inedible disaster. Just as all hope for lunch seems lost, Yuta's friends, remembering they've heard he cooks a lot, turn to him in desperation. In that moment, a new side of Yuta emerges. He's not the flustered, cynical boy anymore. He's a confident leader, taking charge and calmly directing his friends to salvage the meal. Throughout this entire rescue mission, Huju is a quiet observer. She doesn't offer praise, but she's right there, handing him the ingredients he needs. When he reaches for a bundle of carrots, she gives a subtle tug, silently reminding him that time is running out and he needs to keep leading. It's a quiet, steady form of support he isn't used to. Later, after their hard work, one of his friends offhandedly remarks, "You're a nice guy, Tano." Flustered, Yuta asks who on earth would say that. Following Yuta's heroic culinary rescue, the class digs into the now delicious curry. It's a massive hit, and Yuta can't help but feel a little proud. But as his friends praise his cooking, his eyes are locked on one person. Izumi Huju has been eating silently, her expression unreadable. Yuta's heart hammers in his chest. Did she not like it? Mustering his courage, he leans over and asks, "Was it good?" She turns to him, a faint blush on her cheeks, and delivers her verdict with a soft but clear sincerity that hits him like a shockwave. "It's delicious." Before Yuta can even process the wave of happiness from her compliment, she points towards him. "You've got a speck on your face." And then, in a move that completely shatters his composure, she gently reaches out, wipes the speck from his cheek with her finger, and then nonchalantly licks it off. Yuta's brain short-circuits. He's left blushing and bewildered, wondering why this incredibly forward gesture has made him so happy. Their moment is interrupted by an announcement for the next activity, a massive treasure hunt game across the mountain, with a supposed grand prize of 1 million yen. The group set off, only to be immediately stumped by the first clue, an impossibly bizarre riddle about the personal life of their most boring teacher, Miss Kobayashi. As the team spirals into confusion, trying to decipher a hidden meaning that isn't there, Huju once again proves her secret genius. "Bowling," she states with quiet confidence. Everyone is stunned. How could she possibly know? She explains that she simply remembered the teacher mentioning it offhandedly in class one day. The group erupts in cheers. They realize that without Huju's incredible power of observation, a skill no one else possesses, they would have been stuck at the very first step. Yuta can only look on, impressed once again. The bottom 2 crew, who started the day as the designated losers, has suddenly transformed into a powerhouse duo. He saved them with his practical cooking skills, and she saved them with her sharp intellect and memory. As they walk toward the next clue, they share a quiet look, an unspoken acknowledgement of respect and partnership. With Yuta's cooking and Huju's intellect, the bottom 2 crew has transformed into a treasure hunting A-team. As they close in on the final prize, the group suddenly realizes that Huju, who went to get water, hasn't returned. With only 10 minutes left on the clock, panic begins to set in. Yuta's mind races. While he tries to believe the ever-capable Huju couldn't possibly be lost, he can't shake the image of her, spacey, nature. He can't just leave it to chance. In a moment of decisive action, he tells his friends to go on ahead, hiding his genuine worry behind the flimsy excuse that he's super-duper thirsty. Brushing off their concerns, he runs back into the woods to find her. He finds her sitting alone by a trail marker. She wasn't lost. But as he gets closer, he realizes something is wrong. He asks if she hurt her foot. She quietly admits that her brand new shoes, which she had been so excited to wear, have given her painful blisters, and she can no longer walk. "Why didn't you tell someone?" he asks, bewildered. And then comes the confession that changes everything. With a shy blush and an expression of pure, vulnerable honesty, she looks at him and says, "It's because I was really looking forward to coming with you all." She didn't want to be a burden and ruin the fun for everyone else, because this shared experience meant that much to her. The confession strikes Yuta's heart. All of his complex theories and suspicions evaporate in the face of this simple, heartfelt truth. Without a second thought, he turns and offers her a piggyback ride. As he carries her through the woods, she teases him, calling him easy to read. But the teasing quickly fades into sincerity. Resting her head on his back, she whispers a genuine, heartfelt, "Tano, thank you for coming to find me." In that moment, Yuta has an epiphany. He had spent all this time trying to decipher the enigma of Izumi Huju, convinced she was an unreadable mystery. But as he carries her, listening to her honest feelings, he finally understands. She was never a puzzle to be solved. She was a person, with her own hopes and vulnerabilities, which she was now trusting him enough to share. The treasure hunt is over. They may not have found 1,000,000 yen, but Yuta discovered something far more valuable, the truth. The enigmatic girl he was once so wary of has finally shown him her heart, and in doing so, has captured his completely.